Well, hey there, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Stationeers. Quite quick on the back of the other one, seeing as it was fairly well received, which, you know, I'm all about because I absolutely love this game. So, just on that, if you share this around or you watch it, like, ultimately, I let watch time dictate what I play through and what I make, right? So, and that's not, you know, I'm not trying to engineer anything other than the fact that I cover so many different games all the time, it's impossible to keep playing all of them. Like, I just don't have the time. So if you're enjoying this and you want to see more, you know, watching it all the way through helps. Sharing around with people that would like to watch it also would be a big help. And that way, look, I'll just play Stationeers forever if that's how it goes. Anyway, sun's going down. That's fine. We've got a rudimentary power system going, right? As discussed, this is sort of our basic sort of equipment workshop setup going on, and we've got the beginnings of a pseudo airlock because our next step is to create essentially a very basic atmospherics setup, let's say, right? So we're looking at basically creating a scenario where we can manufacture pure O2, right? Now, the thing is, and what I find, I've never ever played on anything but the moon. So what I find fascinating about the other planets is their atmosphere and potential content of the atmosphere, because I love, like anyone that's sort of drawn to these sort of games, you probably like the idea of creating as closed a system as physically possible. And what I mean by that is you don't have to potentially input stuff to make it work. It's self-sustaining is probably the best way to describe it. Okay, hang on. I could probably weld this floor. Or, no, I will, because we need to... So I'm going to work and talk a little bit at the moment. Because at a glance... Oh, okay, at a glance, my slide... Now, that's interesting. We've only been playing for half an hour, and I've gone through, like, 2/3 hunger. Now, we've got all these cereal bars, and I believe you start with 1 or 2 potentially in your backpack, maybe? Maybe not. That's all right. Well, we're not going anywhere, so now if you hold right-click, you can eat some. We'll eat like half the bar or something, because I think you can overeat and lose... You know what I mean? It's not like it'll say stop eating. I think it'll let you just scoff those cereal bars and waste them. Yeah, my issue is, like, say to produce oxygen, we're going to have to mine ice. We're going to have to put it in, right? We could potentially have a setup where we've got ferns which produce oxygen. So maybe there's a scenario where you could create a closed loop there, but only if you've got some sort of intake, right? And the intake would be mining goods. So at least with an atmosphere, you'd be able to draw the atmosphere, process that, right? Power is essentially free. And then you might actually be able to turn that into a closed loop. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but this is just sort of how my brain thinks. So we'll do the moon, you know, obviously. But at some point when we get our big boy pants on, I'd like to try out the ones with an actual atmosphere that we could passively harvest with some sort of intake, you know, like a vacuum air conditioning system. Welding torch and 2 plastic sheets. Where were those? Plastic sheet is here. We will get the welding torch. Cool. I guess we'll do both sides, right? Now what's it want? Crowbar and glass sheets. Oh, we'll put that there. Now, did we keep the glass around? We did too. Because we only used it for that satellite dish. So construct. Construct. Okay. So something that you can force open doors if you need to, and then you can force close it. So if you ever do find a scenario where you've lost power to the system, you can do that, but you got to be careful with that, because usually if you were in here and you had lost power, you got to consider losing whatever pressure it is that you have behind you, because you need airlocks to generally cycle. We'll probably build our own manually cycling system soon, actually, fairly soon. What was I going to do? Yeah, just while I was remembering, it's a good habit to get into until we have an automated system, is to set the solar panel back for the next day. Even though we're not chewing through power too hard. Yeah, that's alright. When the sun comes up, we'll try and remember to swap batteries as well, because that'd be a good habit to be in. Alright, so we've got our airlock here. Alright. So we're going to move into here, and then we've got an essentially sort of like pressurized scenario going on. Now, we need to drill this crap out of the way. So let's get our tool belt. Oh, you can use Alt to do a lot of stuff now, can't you? Oh, you could probably just drag it. Oh my goodness. You could probably drag it straight into your backpack, actually. Wow, this is so much easier than the early days of this. Okay. Bit of quality of life going on there. Alright, so we've got a couple of tools. We've got this, so we can turn it on. Nice. Very good. We'll just drill that out, you know. Make it all a bit pretty. So we can sort of see what we're working with as well, you know. Alright, so we'll put that away for the moment. Alright, so what's going to happen here is we're gonna walk through our airlock, right? And then we're going to have a space where we need to drop ice, right? So what we're going to need is a clear room so it can melt. The sun will melt the ice because the ice is, well, it just will. It's frozen, and you can roll ice around out here on the dark side because it's cold. External pressure, external temperature nil, right? So that's what we'll do there. But then we're going to end up with a whole bunch of liquid, right? So we need to figure out how we're going to process all of that. But that's a few steps away from where we are at the moment. So let me just bear with me. Access card and credit card. Oh look, that's where I've got my little cereal bars. So we've got even more. Okay. Boom. 6. Now look, I'm not really keen to start leaving my tools lying around. But if we're going to have to start drilling into everything, there we go. We'll swap our battery now. Alright, so we'll grab that, switch, place it back in. Cool. Low. It's on yellow. Turn off the suit. Yeah, but if we're probably going to have to do a bit of drilling here, so I don't know. I might even just leave my drill out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. Oh, whoops. Alright. Alright. Oh, goddamn. Put that away. Okay, so we're... Let me think. What's going to be the best thing here? Alright. Now, when I say you get liquid, you'll get gas before you get liquid. It's all temperature based, right? So you will actually... as you fill a room, right, let's talk about conservation of gases and properties, right, within a closed system. So if we make a closed room, and if we melt too much ice, right, we're going to be putting in way more mass of ice, and that all is holding, let's think of it, it's got its sort of, its heat profile, it's holding negative heat, it's holding a cold temperature, right? So the more ice that we put in there to melt, essentially you're going to drop the temperature of the room, and you'll get to a point where it won't all go to gas form. Essentially you want the ice to go to gas, but it's got to pass through liquid stage, right? But if you do too much, then you'll essentially end up with a really cold room that you might even need to heat. So it'll be a sort of, I think, again, I'm talking theoretical to help inform how we're going to build. As long as you're sensible about the ice, we should be able to do it in essentially a straight gas room, right? So we'd mine our ice, we'd put it on the ground or hold it out in the ice room, right? That'd start turning into gas form, right? And we'd probably want some sort of vacuum, right? We'd probably want an intake vent to suck that out to put it straight into a thing, right? Into like a canister. So I guess if we're going to think about this, we need a cycling airlock before anything else, right? Because we need to conserve all the gas when we travel in and out. So first things first is doing that. So I suppose, and when I say cycling airlock, what I'm talking about is the airlock is just, an airlock is just 2 doors, right? But it's going to, as we move in and out, it's going to fill up with gases from the inside, right? And as soon as you open it up, it's going to suck all the gases out. We don't want that. We really don't want that. So what we do is we create a sealed airlock, and we need to have a vent system. We can do a manual system. But you can have an automatically cycling airlock. You got to be careful with these things, I think. I see a lot of guys in the early days, they just Google it, and people would go, here, do exactly this, right? And then they do it, and there'd be an error. Who knows, it could have been a patch, or it could have been the fact that they just didn't do it right. And they have no idea how to fix it, right? And it's sort of like, this isn't your Holden Commodore. Well, people probably don't know what that is in America. This isn't a Ford. You know, it's not a car where if it breaks down, you can just send it to the shop. You need to know how the systems work. So just copy-pasting one off the internet doesn't bloody help you at all. Because when it breaks, you're stuffed. Alright, so what we're going to need to do is we'll put a vent, right? Or like an intake sort of thing. Now, they did change the kits around last time I touched back on this. Air conditioner. See, portable scrubber, the air conditioner as well. Those things, we'll have a look at those, but they're probably going to be enough to get us really going. Solid generator. Iron wall. No. Okay, so hang on. Where are we at? Active vent. Yeah, we'll take that. Console. Again, we're not going to need that because we're not automating anything. A sensor. Now, we could use a sensor, right? But we don't need to either. We can be sensible. Let's take pipe as well. Pipe valve we won't need. This might be enough, to be perfectly honest. This might be enough because... Oh, here we go. The sun's coming up to charge our thing. So, let's have a look here. Active vent. It used to be... Placement is only allowed... Yeah. Get rid of 6. Okay. Is that it? I can rotate it? Okay. So I think you have to make a passive and an active, like, and we only get one, so we're going to actually have to make our own passive vent. That is really fascinating. Interesting. Okay. So if we're going to do a really basic site, let's just bloody put this bad boy here in the center, right? I guess we'll open him up. Now again, if I'm moving too fast, I really apologize because, again, I'm moving at the... Oh, no, you can't open it up. What am I talking about? I'm moving at the pace that my brain's trying to figure all this out as well. How do I crouch? Can I not crouch? Can you not crouch in this game? Alright, so pipe's coming out the top. Power's probably coming out the bottom, I would say. Vent power and data. Yeah, there you go. And you can put a slot into it as well. I wonder what that's about. That's like a hard programming disk sort of thing. Okay, so essentially what this is a vent, right? That you know, for exhaust or, you know, for airflow into a pipe. So we're gonna actually, there you go, I'll put a pipe up the top so you know. Right? Give you an idea, right? So we can create, this is the in-out. This sets flow, right? And this sets power, right? So it's a motorized pump basically on its own, this vent. So you can actually set it for suction or exhaust. So what we would ultimately do is when, say we're leaving, we're going out the airlock, so we come through this door, we come to here, that's closed, and we go to here, we go set inward, we turn it on. I'll have to remember what it is because it's a bit confusing. Set inward, turn it on, and it will suck all the air out of this room into that pipe, and we'll have the pipe actually just run back inside, right? And then once it seems to be at 0, and we'll just eyeball it because we're doing a basic job now, then out we go, okay? Vice versa, when we're coming back in, we would probably pump this room a bit as well, just because if you open this room into a vacuum room like this, it will blast you with the pressure of that room and potentially send shit flying at you, and you can actually get killed. You can take damage from stuff getting blasted at you at pressure. So that's the start of that. Alright, so yeah, I think we'll just... I believe you can't run piping through... I mean, I could be wrong. You can't throw it through the wall, but you can throw it through the edge? Oh, that's interesting. What will we do here? I reckon maybe in that corner seems like, you know, that works. Alright, hang on. I need to mouse wheel it, don't I? Corner. There we go. Right, so our pipe's going to go around like so, into here. And then, I guess, unless we run it into... No, we'll just send it back into the room. We will just send it back into the room. You got to be careful though. If the room, like, we don't want to be at high pressure because obviously you're going to be dumping this cubic thing of pressure back into this room. So we'll probably make it larger than just one square, obviously. Well, it might not be obvious, but we will. Alright, that's still charging and it's not fully charged anyway, so we need to pay attention to that. We run out of power, we die, pretty much. If we put it straight up, that's fine. I won't have to babysit it so much. Okay. So, what we're going to need to do is make a vent. Now, unless I'm mistaken, we need a hydraulic pipe bender for that. Unless you can make it straight out of here. You can't. So what we actually need to do is make, there we go, a pipe bending kit, right? And it should tell you what you need. Iron, gold, and copper. So we're now at a point where we are going to go mining, right? So we need to set up some redundancy as well. Because if you get caught out in the middle of the night, you die. Alright, now, I think they changed this. How do I can drop it, but did they change it so that you can put it on the power grid or something like that? No. Maybe you can build a powered beacon. So the downside of this beacon is that it's battery powered, so it can run out, right? So let's turn that off. All right. So you've got to be really bloody careful. So essentially, okay, let me just slow down. What we're doing is, the draw distance in this game can be abysmal, right? You can fly up, right? But look how far we can see, right? Not very far. So this represents a serious problem, right? Because if we go out and we get caught in the night, or even if you just go too far, it doesn't have to be nighttime, but you can't see your way back, yes, you're really stuffed. Hang on. So, we have a beacon, but the beacon can run out, so it is still quite dangerous. Now, how do we use the beacon? Ultimately, you get this little iPad thing. You have to put a cartridge reader network. Oh, I think we pulled out the one cartridge that we... Oh, what can we do with the portable solar panel? Hang on, I might have a fiddle with that in a second. We take the cartridge, the tracker cartridge. Let's swap that. All right. Now we've got the tracker cartridge. So we open... Here we go. Put the cartridge in for tracker. Turn... Oh, okay. Turn this on. Scarlet Seeker. I can track myself. That doesn't help. It helps in multiplayer, right? But you can go to the tracking beacon. Alright? If we turn this on, there we go. Look at this, right? So if I do get lost, we have that.
Power low.
Okay. See how we're getting through our power quite quickly? So let's just turn this off. And that's definitely off as well. Good. We'll put this back in our backpack. So you need to have, you know, in case of emergency sort of stuff. How low's low?
Power critical.
Whoops. I accidentally pulled my thing out first. Alright, okay, so we gotta be careful here with the batteries. In fact, as much as I want to head out now, our power system's not really as robust as I'd like it to be. But we do have some spare batteries. Alright. What will we do? You can get a... We've got 2. Right? So what we might actually do then is... Because there is a battery charging kit. There's also this. You know what? We're going to rig this in. We're going to make our actual grid stronger. Even though I do want to go out and do mining, I just feel that seeing that one cycle, we weren't charging enough power, in my estimation. So for the moment, we're just going to rig in this because we can, because we've got a spare. We'll make some more floor. We might actually, when the sun goes down, we'll probably move that across. You reckon we could squeeze 2 in next to each other, and then we could probably do some sort of battery thing as well, because we've got the spare one. Yep, okay. So essentially, I'm gonna make it so we can charge more batteries at once off of that panel, because we're not drawing on the grid at the moment, you know. So the more batteries that we can have getting charged, the better. We also probably need to pay a little bit more attention to the panel increments, if that makes sense, because we just need to get more out of it, and I'm not really ready to build a new dish. Turn this off for starters. I don't want all this stuff drawing.
Light off.
So interesting that they have lights, but they're not gridded at the moment, you know? Alright, well, the sun's gone down, so let's crowbar this thing first. Close it up. Now we're going to pull it off the grid. We'll make some space. Drill to deconstruct this. Interesting, the battery falls out. That's cool. I mean, that probably makes sense. Alright. So we'll move this along. Again, I like having the buttons and that down the bottom. Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. Alright. Open that up. Put this battery in there. Wire strip that. We'll strip that as well. We'll just strip all of it to get out of the way. No. Where is the other regulator? Here it is. So we'll pop. Do we? Yeah, we'll do it like this. Buttons at the bottom, cool, but we want the pass through there. We'll just put it in series, not in parallel, because we don't. That's too complicated. We don't want that sort of headspace. We want all the power just to pass through, just to run off to power to pass through there. And then now, where is this battery thing? I haven't used this in a while. So you don't pass through on this. Well, you can't pass through. Where would be a sensible place to put this? Probably like that. Probably like that. Okay. So you can sit batteries in here and charge it. But this is going to connect, similar to how these connect to the grid, that connects to the grid. This is not a pass-through scenario. So, let us do... Yeah, I guess we'll do it like this, right? Alright. Get the wire stripper like so.
Power low.
I know, love. That's literally why we're doing this. Now we need a 3-way junction. There we go. Cool. Right, so we've got our grid running through like so. Let's open this up. We'll turn this controller on. Oh, hang on. I think that means it's on. I hope so. Now, at least the way power works in this game, be a good experiment actually here, because we've got one battery. Here you go, we'll put one in the charger. Alright. And that won't draw or anything like that. Now, if we do, let's pick, yeah, there we go, we'll swap them. Now, there we go, it wasn't on. See what's happening here? The power's running, let's say, downhill. It's drawing from that battery and filling that battery, right? That's interesting. So we technically had them off, I suppose. See, there you go. It's flattened that battery to just put it into there, right? Similar thing if, well, this is full, right? But let's say we put that there, right? And the power should still pass through without a battery. If we turn this on, this thing will start flashing probably green and yellow. It won't flash blue. It'll go green and yellow, and then this will start drawing on that battery. Oh, blue and red, sorry. Right. So that means that the two different colors indicate whether it's draw on either side. So that's all good and well. Now we've got a fully charged battery, so that's nice. But we didn't generate power. We just moved it from one battery to another. All right. So what we're going to do is we'll grab that. We'll swap. We'll put the big battery there. Oh, it's drawing from my light, I think.
Light off.
Hang on. What's the grid doing?
Light
Why are you flashing?
on.
This isn't on. Oh, you know what? We'll just charge these batteries now. Stuff it. Well, anyway, let's put this in there. Yeah, there you go. Red, it's not drawing any power in, right? Whereas that is. That's what that's telling you. Cool. Alright, cool. But at least this way we've got a way to charge like a whole bunch of batteries at once, right? Let's... And our grid's actually a bit stronger now for it. Yeah, because at the moment we're actually going through our battery faster than we're basically charging it. Okay, so that would be the plan now. So a little bit of busy work, not too much. We're getting there, you know. So we've got. I've gone through the idea of how we're going to create, you know, you sort of reverse cycle airlock there, or it's just going to be manually cycling actually, and then we're going to go out on a little bit of an adventure to go and get a bit of drilling we'll do on the next episode. But look at that, time escapes me when I play this. I love it so much. This is pretty good timing. I get the feeling the sun's about to come up. We're not far off finishing that cycle. You can set up a sensor to get an idea of whereabouts we're at. I guess maybe the reflection, because that looks like a reflection on this on the Earth. I'm not sure. Again, I'm learning a lot of this as I go. Alright team, thanks again for joining me. Let me know what you think. If you want more, let me know, or watch it, or share it around. But we might just leave it there, and I will catch you guys on the next one.